There are some stories you hear once and they never leave your head. Not because they're loud or shocking, but because they feel real. I found one like that. It was buried deep in a Reddit thread about old shortwave radio broadcasts, and someone just casually dropped a link. What I read after that chilled me more than any ghost story ever could. And trust me, by the time this ends, you'll start wondering if there's something hiding in the static too. So let's begin. The story takes place in a small town in northern Scotland, around the year 2006. The main character, Daniel, was a radio technician by profession and a bit of a recluse by personality. He moved to a remote cottage near Inverness to get away from the city noise, saying he wanted peace to listen better. Daniel spent most of his nights scanning shortwave radio frequencies, just static and weird foreign broadcasts mostly. But one night, around 2:43 a.m., he picked up something strange, a soft female voice repeating the same numbers over and over again. Not just numbers. She said them like she meant them. Daniel couldn't sleep after that. The next night, the same voice returned, different numbers. He began recording it, and obsessively trying to decode it. Morse, military frequencies, NATO phonetic alphabet. Nothing worked. Then, one night, the voice stopped mid-transmission. Silence. And then, breathing. Just breathing. That night, all the lights in his cottage flickered, and his equipment shorted out. But he wasn't afraid yet. He was fascinated. The next day, he drove into the nearby town to talk to an old ham radio operator named Martin, who warned him, "You've tuned into something you're not supposed to hear." Daniel started hearing the voice outside the radio, in whispers through the trees, in his hallway, even in the static of his phone. And then came the twist. When he played back one of his recordings, the voice spoke his name. Not the usual coded numbers, just Daniel. It's almost time. He isolated the audio and layered it. In the background, faintly, there was another voice, a male one, screaming for help. In German. The exact same man was reported missing in 1978, after investigating a similar transmission from a NATO base in West Germany. The story took a darker turn when Daniel uploaded part of the transmission online, asking others to help decode it. That's when others started hearing it too. Listeners from Canada, France, and even Japan reported the exact same numbers, the same breathing, and then complete silence. Then their recordings vanished. Files deleted, backups corrupted. A man from Berlin who emailed Daniel about a theory just disappeared. Police found his apartment untouched. Coffee still warm, laptop melted internally, but no signs of anyone entering or leaving. Daniel started locking himself in. He stopped posting, but one final video went up. He looked hollow. All he said was, "If you've heard the voice, don't listen again. Don't try to decode it. It knows." Martin later contacted someone on the same Reddit thread and shared something horrifying. The frequency Daniel had found was never supposed to exist. It was known in Cold War documents as the Echo Gate, an experimental signal meant to contact enemy devices, but which accidentally connected to something else. The breathing, the voices, were described and declassified. Files as responses from non-human intelligence, using mimicry to lure operators. There were even photos, blurry, black and white, strange creatures resembling melted radios, faces twisted into dials, wires replacing veins. Daniel's cottage was found abandoned, but in the radio room, the equipment was still running, playing the transmission over and over. The last thing ever heard from that station wasn't a number. No one knows where Daniel went. The Reddit post was deleted a week later, the user banned. But fragments still exist, passed around by late-night listeners and digital archivists. Some claim the signal still broadcasts at exactly 2:43 a.m. They say if you tune in, you won't hear numbers anymore. You'll hear your own name. Here's what's creeping me out. If this story is true, then what exactly are we connecting to when we scan random signals late at night? Is it possible someone, or something, is just waiting to be heard? Have you ever heard strange whispers and static? Or had devices act weird during storms? Comment below with your thoughts or theories, and if you're brave enough to tune in at 2:43 a.m. tonight. Let me know what you hear, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Until then, stay curious.